Welcome back. Well, we have something interesting to talk about this morning because I screwed up last week. It's not the first time I've made this mistake, and the part that kills me, as much as I want to say it will be the last, I'm really afraid it won't. So, I thought today we would talk about problems you can get into selling online. And this is a problem I have encountered more than once, and I'm dealing with it right now. So when we get back. So what happened? Well, turns out I sold too much stuff. Wouldn't think that would be a problem. That's sort of like, oh, selling too much stuff, that's a great problem. Everybody should have that. Well, here's what happened. I sold, I think it was 6 Tidbit trays in the space of 2 days. Had to get them all shipped out. And, well, I put the wrong label on the wrong package. Now, in order to do that, see, here's the rub. In order to do that, I had to put the wrong label on yet another package. So I got 2 mislabeled packages out there. I know about one of them. And any day now, today, tomorrow, the next day, I'm going to find out about the other one. Because somebody wrote me today and said, this is a beautiful Tidbit tray, buddy. It's not the one I ordered. And I was like, oh dear. Now, I know how I did it, and we are going to talk about that. But the first thing I want to talk about is what happens in a situation like this. Now, the very first thing that has to happen always is you have to take responsibility. You have to let the customer know, this is your fault. My bad. I'm sorry. Obviously, there was a mix-up. People understand immediately that this was a goof. This is not a bad faith transaction. They're not saying, oh, look how she cheated me. No, it's immediately clear. I got somebody else's Tidbit tray, therefore somebody else has mine. They understand. So the first thing you need to do is let them know you're sorry, it's your fault. Because let's face it, it's your fault. Who else are you going to blame, So, I'm sorry, my bad, look, eek. And you need to assure them you're going to take care of things. It was my good fortune that the first buyer who got in touch with me had purchased a Tidbit tray that even if I can't give her the exact tray she ordered, I can absolutely give her a tray that is the same. In other words, the same style of plates and hardware. They won't be the exact same plates, but they will be the same pattern. It will be a virtually identical piece. So that's good. The other one, no, I don't think so. So first thing you have to do when you deal with this, after you say, gee, I'm sorry, is you need to send them a prepaid return label. There is no question but that you get that out immediately. They will send the tray they got by mistake back. And don't worry about this. Virtually all of your customers are going to be very honest about it. After all, like I say, everybody understands this is a mistake. And besides, people want what they purchased, and you need to get what you sent them back. So you send them a prepaid label. Oh yes, you are going to have to pay 3 separate postage amounts on this. And 2 of them are going to come out of your pocket, and that includes insurance. Oh well, gee, whose mistake was it, right? So this represents a loss that you're just going to have to take. It happens. You get that label out immediately. They are in no way responsible for any of this. So You make sure they get the box back, just stick it back in the box, stick the label on it. So the only thing they are going to be out, if you will, is a couple of pieces of tape to reseal the box and stick the new label on it. And whatever, if they have to go to the post office to drop it off. In fact, I always suggest that they contact the post office through the USPS.com website and have the post office come pick it up. It's easy enough to do. So that's like your opening position is, my fault, I'm sorry, here's the label, I'm going to get you what you bought. So at this point, what am I going to have to do? Well, the customer who got the item first, and she's the one who lives nearby, I think she lives in Ohio, so consequently she got hers right away. I don't know where her Tidbit tray went. I'm afraid it went to Washington State, but I'm not sure. And that could mean 2 more days. They all went out priority, so it's not like it's going to be 3 weeks or anything. But then I need that buyer to get back to me. Why? Because I don't know. I have no idea which buyer this was. Somebody else got it, but I don't know who, because I am not going to put the first buyer through the hassle of, well, could you describe the Tidbit tray? Could you take a picture of it for me? Blah, blah, blah. Now that would tell me who got their tray, but that's not their responsibility. And that's not something I'm going to ask somebody to do because they've already been inconvenienced enough. And that's something you need to keep in mind. Usually when somebody gets the wrong item, their first thought is worry. I bought this. Am I going to get what I want? Is somebody going to say, no, that's what you want, and stick me with something that I don't want? People can be concerned about this. That's why I say the first thing you have to do is put their mind at ease. It's like, don't worry about it. Here's your label. I'm going to take care of this. This was my fault. I'm sorry. I will fix it. They need to know that. So I don't believe in further complicating it by asking them for any more than I absolutely need to, because I need to ask them for their help to fix this. They have to send the item back to me. That puts them out of their way. They weren't bargaining for this. They were bargaining for getting the item that they wanted. But like I say, most people are really good about this. They understand mistakes happen. And if you are decent with them and polite enough, 9 times out of 10, they're happy to help you. They really are. So always keep that in mind. I know a lot of people will say, well, once they find out that, that they have my stuff, what if they decide to keep it? Then the other person wants it back. Don't make that assumption. Never assume that your buyers are going to be criminals or that they're going to say, well, this is more valuable than the piece that I had purchased. No. Because ordinarily that's just not the way things shake down. And if you approach your buyers with this, I know you're a criminal and I know you're going to try to rip me off, all you're going to do is alienate the people that you need on your side. You need them to help you fix the problem. And they're probably very worried too. So just remember, if you screw up, you got nowhere to go. You just have to say, I'm so sorry. This is what I'm going to do. I will take care of it. I'm going to send you a label. If you send it back to me, I will get you what you need. Now, in most cases, from a business point of view, what you need to do is get one item back. So if Mary gets a red Tidbit tray and Janice gets a blue one, and in fact, Mary wants the blue one, Mary sends you the red tray. You hang on to it. Janice sends you the blue one. You take that blue one, send it to Mary, send the red one to Janice. So at some point, you have the items before you are shipping them out. And in the case of a shipping mix-up, it's almost mandatory that you will have the items in your possession. Otherwise, you won't have them to send them back. But occasionally, in the case of the first buyer who contacted me, I can, in fact, send her a Tidbit tray right now. I can throw it in the mail immediately. Well, actually, that's not exactly true. I have to make it up, but I could do it relatively quickly. I could send it out before I get the package back from her. Am I going to do that? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I get the postal confirmation that, my Tidbit tray, the one that she's supposed to be sending me back, I'll wait until I get the confirmation that that's gone in the mail. Then I'll send hers out. It's just a little bit of trust is great. There's an old expression that is attributed to the Bedouins in the Middle East, and it goes, trust in Allah, but tie your camel. So a little bit of trust is good. A lot of trust is stupid. So anyway, once you find out the item is in the mail, your buyer's done what they need to do. Send it out. What is this going to cost? Each Tidbit tray is going to cost me approximately $16 in extra shipping because each one is going to be shipped back and forth. It's 3 times, and the buyer will have paid for one of those shippings. I will have paid 2. It's approximately $8, because it's a £1.50 package. So the total loss on this screw up is about $32. So I need to sort of dissect this and see what I did wrong, because you just can't make mistakes like that every day. That gets cost prohibitive very quickly. So do I know how I did it? Oh yes, of course I do. I was packing items, shipping them out, and I was printing the labels off 2 at a time. Dumb. Now, and I know that's dumb, and that's why I started off saying I've done it before, and I wish I could say I won't do it again, but unfortunately I'm afraid I will, because this is not the first time I've done it, and you would think I would learn, but apparently I am like an idiot who cannot learn from their own mistakes. So what I need to be aware of in the future is that's okay to print the labels off 2 at a time if the packages are different sizes and different weights. But if the packages are the same size and the same weight, I'm going to get confused. I'm going to put the wrong label on the wrong piece. It would be nice if I didn't have half a dozen items going out the same day. And in this case, it was a lot of stuff going out, and I was getting packages ready to go out that day. Let me explain that, because that was a little confusing. What happens is when I sell on Etsy, I tell them I do next day shipping, which I do. But my idea of next day shipping and Etsy's idea of next day shipping are 2 different things. My idea of next day shipping is next business day, which means if I receive your order before 6 p.m., and business day is usually 5 p.m., but if I get your order before 6 p.m., it'll go out the next day. If it comes in at midnight and you're in California and I'm on the East Coast, then midnight your time could be 3 in the morning my time, which means I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and if I have to go out that day, my mail carrier comes at 10. So I have to get up, go take a shower, get ready to go out, and then start wrapping up packages to go. And if there are a lot of them, mistakes will happen. And that's what happened this time out. So I have to reconsider this next day shipping. Maybe I should just tell eBay Etsy rather, I want 2 days. I wish I could just explain to them what, 1 business day means, but they don't get that. They simply it doesn't compute for them. And they do actually believe that an order that goes out, at say 11 o'clock California time comes into me at 2 o'clock Pennsylvania time. I think that's the time difference. They think that's going out, when I get up in the morning, and maybe that's something I need to change. But this was my problem. I did this, and I have done this before. I've also been on the other end of this. On at least 3 occasions, I have gotten packages that were intended for other buyers. And I haven't gotten my purchase. I've gotten, I get somebody else's item instead. The only times I have ever balked about it at all is when the seller has been unpleasant about it and acted like somehow it was my fault. Like, yes, you stole my item from me. No, I didn't. You sent it to me, for heaven's sake. And sometimes that happens, which is why I say never, ever get hostile with a buyer in a situation like this. They haven't done anything. And I think it was a very valuable experience to be on the wrong end of a hostile seller. That happened a number of years ago. The other 2 times it was really simple. The seller said, look, I made a mistake. Here's what I want to do. Can I send you some money? One of them said, can I send you some money by PayPal to cover the shipping on this? Because they didn't know how to send a prepaid label. And they took care of it very quickly and easily. Not a big deal. But one of them was problematic. And so I trenched in and got unpleasant too. You don't want that. It's unnecessary. That's not going to get you good relations with your buyers. So what do we learn from this? What I've learned is, even though, like I just said, oh, well, if the packages are different sizes and different weights, no. See, that's my sloppy thinking coming to the fore again. No, I can do this. I can print out multiple labels. I can't. Clearly, I can't be trusted to do this. What I have to do is, no matter how time-consuming or inconvenient I find it, I need to pack an item, print out a label, put the label on the box, put that box into my mailing box, and then go on to the next one. That's what I need to learn. And if I would just get that through my thick skull, I could actually say, well, yes, it's happened before, but this is the last time because I'm learning. See, so I've got to work on that. Am I going to? Oh, I'm so afraid I'm not. I am afraid I am just going to say, no, I want to print out all those labels all at once. And that just gets me in trouble. So I have to work on this. So I know that if you say to me, gee, hey, I'm with you. I get it. It's a pain. Got to do it. All right, so that was my selling screw up for the day. I know what I did. I know what I have to do to fix it. And now I have to exercise the self-discipline to do what I have to do. I can fix this very easily, but, it's going to cost me. And it would be better if it didn't cost me again. So I need to remember that. I should probably just give myself some sort of disincentive. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would my mother do? Who knows? But I have to work something out so that it makes some impression, so that I remember that I really don't want to find myself in this situation again. All right. How about a little bit of word origins so that we can end this on a happy note instead of, gee, Sue, you screwed up, which, by the way, I did. So, and it's okay. Comments, you can say, you screwed up, Sue, because I know it's not a secret. Quick. These were the attitude and emotion words that I started yesterday, I believe. Quick once meant living. When you say, I am hurt to the quick, you are using the word in its original sense, precisely as in the biblical phrase, the quick and the dead. This common word was spelled C-W-I-C-U, C-U-C-U, or C-W-I-C, and it signified nothing more than the presence of life. Not so long ago, when people spoke of quick stock, they meant livestock. A quick fence was a hedge because, unlike a stone or wooden fence, it was living. A quick wine was sparkling and effervescent. Soon conductors were telling us to be quick or to step lively, and the transition was made to the meaning of lively or speedy. Interesting. I knew that quick originally meant live, but I did not know how it went from live to fast and lively as that central missing link. That works. Rankle, like a dragon. It would be impossible to even guess that the common word rankle came from the Greek word for eye, but the story of the transition is logical, amusing, and completely fantastic. In Greek, Dracos meant eye, and Drakon was the word for serpent, so named because flaming eyes were a terrifying characteristic of serpents and dragons. The Romans borrowed the Greek word for serpent and changed the spelling. The Greek spelling was Drakon, D-R-A-K-O-N, and changed the spelling to Draco, D-R-A-C-O. Later, Romans devised the diminutive Dracunculus. Dracunculus, there we go, which should mean little dragon, but they used it as their term for an ulcer because an ulcer felt like the gnawing of a little dragon. Dracunculus entered Old French as Dragoncleur, and this word acquired such family cousins as Rayoncleur and Rankler, which came into English as our word rankle. So when an insult rankles in your heart, it's as though a little dragon's teeth were at you or an ulcer were burning within you. Very interesting. Rapture, akin to rape. Rapture and rape both mean overcome or carried away and derive from the Latin rapio, which also means to carry off, and usually by force. A person can look upon a beautiful view with rapture and be carried away by it, or he can be enraptured by a beautiful girl and look upon her with rape in his heart. Oh, how did I know this guy was going to go there? Rascal, he itches. Often words weaken in their meanings as they grow old. We used to use the word rascal as an epithet for a dishonest rogue or knave, as turned the rascals out of office. But nowadays, it has almost become a term of affection applied to babies and puppies, the cute little rascals. Rascaille, R-A-S-K-A-Y-L, came into Middle English from the 12th century French rascaille, R-A-S-C-A-I-L-L-E, meaning outcasts and low camp followers. And this ultimately goes back to the Latin verb rado, rasus, scratch or scrape. A rascal in the earliest usage represented the dregs and scrapings of humanity, a base, uncouth creature. It was not until about 1600 that the word rascal started to soften. It is interesting to know that from the same Latin verb rado, rasus, we get rash, the skin eruption that makes you want to scratch and scrape. Roué, once a criminal. From the French word roué, which meant To break on the wheel or torture on the rack. This word came to us from the Duke of Orleans, who was the regent of France around the turn of the 18th century, while Louis XV was still a minor, and after whom our city of New Orleans was named. The Duke liked ribaldry and revelry, and so surrounded himself with dissolute and most disreputable people. And quite as in these days, when a man will affectionately call another, "You old bastard, you," is male bonding. The Duke addressed these dissipated companions as his dear roués, and there wasn't one of them who shouldn't have been jailed or stretched out on the rack. All right, very, very interesting. Okay, have a great day, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow.